Question number 10, Dr Megan Woods.
Does he have confidence in EQC's oversight of all claims related to the Canterbury earthquakes?
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, I wasn't sure it was me for a minute there, but yes, as of the 31st of January, EQC has managed more than 67,000 home repairs, made 97,000 cash settlements and resolved more than 60,000 land claims. 99% of homeowners scheduled for cash settlements have been paid. 98% of those in their managed repair program have had their repairs completed. The Canterbury earthquakes were one of the largest insurance events ever anywhere in the world, and EQC has managed hundreds of thousands of claims and has made good progress, though it's not always been easy for either EQC or its customers.
Supplementary question, Dr Megan Woods.
Why should Canterburyans share his confidence when EQC is having to redo thousands of those repairs and thousands of other homeowners have unresolved claims 5 years on?
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, of the 67,000 completed home repairs, just over 5,000 have indicated that they would like to have a second look at some of the work that related to that repair. That's a rate of 8%. 8% return rate on 67,000 homes. I present to the House and will seek leave to table a Brands report indicating that when someone gets a new home built, it's not uncommon for more than 80% of those homeowners to call the builders back. I think the 8% rate on the EQC repairs is exceptional.
Supplementary question, Dr Megan Woods.
Does he think it's a reflection on his leadership of EQC when 60% of staff don't have confidence in the leadership of the organisation and nearly 3/4 of staff don't believe that EQC delivers on the promises it makes to customers?
The Honourable
Mr
Jerry
Speaker,
Brownlee.
the answer fundamentally is no. And what I would say is that when you look at a set of results from a survey, picking out specific questions without seeing them in context of the whole survey is hardly reasonable. I would suggest, for example, that this means that there is a 40% confidence rate. And let me be clear, if that were a result in any poll for the Labor Party, the member would be dancing in the aisles.
Order. Point of order, Dr Megan Woods.
Mr Speaker, I seek leave to table the survey that shows that EQC is way below the government benchmark for other organisations. It's the IBM EQC engagement survey.
On the basis that that's not freely available, I'll put the leave. The House can decide. Leave is sought to table that particular survey. Is there any objection? There is not. Supplementary question, Dr Megan Woods.
Does he consider that EQC spending $23.5 million in legal bills fighting the people of Canterbury is a good use of taxpayer money, or could it be better used fixing people's houses?
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Well, Mr Speaker, once again, you'd have to look at each of the individual cases that are finding their way to the courts. If you look at the headline analysis of the work that's been done, it is overwhelmingly positive. We're talking about a very few percentage of cases at the end of a program. And what I would say is that EQC is like any other insurer. It cannot step outside its policy bounds. If it does so, it comes at a cost, in this case, to the taxpayer. But in the long term, because of the inability or the effect it may have on the purchase of reinsurance, to every single New Zealand household insurance purchaser. So I think they have acted appropriately. I think the board has managed the situation well, and frankly, for an event of this size, the litigation surrounding it has been absolutely minimal.
Question.
Supplementary question, Dr Megan Woods.
Why should Canterburyans believe that EQC's response to claims from Sunday's earthquakes will be any better handled than the mess of the last 5 years?
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Firstly, I don't accept that there is a mess from the last 5 years, and any reasonable person looking at the statistics would have to agree, remembering that it is the taxpayer of New Zealand who backs this scheme to the hilt. There have so far been, as I understand it, just around about midday today, some 1,700 claims lodged as a result of Sunday. It's expected that up to half of those could be for contents only. And, Mr Speaker, we would expect that the assessment process will be carried out as efficiently as is possible, but the work will be done first for those who are still waiting.
Question